Okay, I think I wanted to introduce Slava Koltovich, group program. Okay, too many destinations, and yeah. Principal group product manager. Slava was actually supposed to join last year as well, as supposed to come and give the keynote, but I think he had COVID in the last minute, and I think some of you had similar challenges last year. And Slava is is part of the AAS team, and I think he's the best person to talk about what's the roadmap, vision, and that's the kind of content what we're expecting today. Yeah, it's up to you. Welcome. Yeah, thank you.
All right, hey everyone. As Sarvana said, my name is Slava Koltovich. Really glad to be here and meet you all. It's been almost 4 years since I've been on the stage. It's on my last on-site or in-person presentation were right before the COVID. So bear with me. It's much easier to do it online when you can pretend you actually look at your camera when reading notes from the screen. Right here, I need to look at all of you. So I know I'm a new face to many of you and didn't have a chance to meet the people in community here yet. I'm also still considering myself relatively new to Microsoft. Joined about a year and a half ago to lead the product for Logic Apps and overall experience for Azure Integration Services. So my team works closely with Azure API management, Azure messaging, Azure data to create that unified experience for all the services across the Azure Integration Services. And we also partner closely with App Services, Power Platform, Cloud Native Services to ensure that our integration platform can support all kinds of developers with their integration needs. And because my clicker also doesn't work, I'll stay here and click the button. So let's get started. And I want to start from talking about the trends in integration that we observe today. So first of all, digital-first strategies became the reality for enterprises over the last integration year. In fact, adoption of digital-first strategies fueling the growth for many companies across many industries. And digital transformation and digital-first strategy has been a thing for many years, so it's not a surprise, it's not a new thing. However, according to the study done by the Economist Intelligence Unit with Microsoft, 72% of organizations reported that their industry pace accelerated their digital transformation during or because of COVID or during the COVID period. And being digital first actually pays off. So digital leaders achieve earning growth that is 1.8% higher, 1.8 times higher than the digital laggards, and more than double their growth in total enterprise value. So not a surprise that CEOs across various sectors come to recognize the immense revenue potential that digital-first strategy and the digital avenues offer. The trend is expected to gain momentum as digital change became increasingly vital for for the business continuity. And that also changes how companies perceive cloud, shifting focus from cost-cutting benefits to unlocking and accelerating new digital experiences to gain competitive advantage and to drive growth. Wider adoption of digital-first strategies and innovative digital experience that companies build will drive an exponential growth in number of applications created in the next several years. According to IDC, the number of applications that will be created in 2025, 1 year alone, will reach 750 million apps. And that's just in 1 year, and this number is higher than the number of applications created over the last 40 years combined. And naturally, this accelerated pace of digital transformation will drastically change, or it already drastically changes all aspects of application development. It changes how we create application, who creates those applications, how we release them, how we manage them, and in the end, what we even call an application nowadays. And integration is not an exception, and it changes to support these new trends and demands as well. So first of all, in order to support growing and constantly changing demand for the new digital experiences, companies moving towards composable enterprise, the state where they can build new digital experiences quickly by assembling and reassembling existing assets, existing modular components. Organizations see the integration platform as the main enabler of this composable enterprise journey. Integration platform allows quickly abstract legacy applications through API and make them as a consumable modern components. It also provides low-code integration and orchestration capabilities that allows to easily create new components and new abstractions on top of the existing ones that accelerates the building of new digital experiences significantly. The other trend we observe is the shift of the way the integration platform is perceived inside the organizations. So for decades, as Saravana mentioned, the integration platform has been a very well-defined box on the enterprise integration diagram, serving mostly the purpose of IT organizations sitting somewhere far, far back on the back end and implementing a very limited set of enterprise integration and business process automation scenarios. However, business driving the digital transformation, business driving the digital first strategies, and business don't think integration versus web development versus backend development versus cloud development versus you name it. Business think about end-to-end experiences. And they demand these end-to-end experiences from the developers and from the IT organizations. And they want to use the best technologies available today, like AI, real-time analytics, mobile apps, and so on. They want to use it now. They cannot wait for us to figure out how to enable those technologies soon. So integration platform today must go beyond the traditional integration box to provide a solid foundation for these end-to-end experiences. And that it does it by enabling building components, the reusable components, the reusable abstractions that I talked about before. It enables it by connecting data and application together. And it also should provide an easy access to the new services like AI and real-time analytics for the rest of the organizations that to be used for the end-to-end applications or end-to-end experiences. The last trend I want to discuss is the shift of the IT organization role. With this new growing demand for new digital assets, centralized integration organization that exist in many companies as centralized IT or center of excellence, or there's multiple names for it. The centralized organizations cannot anymore support all the integration needs that business have. They cannot sustain the demand coming from the business. Organizations are looking to leverage the full bench of available developers to build integration, automation, and end-to-end solutions. And that includes citizen developers working on no-code, low-code platform. That includes traditional integration developers, and now line of business or even cloud-native developers who are used to write code in .NET, Java, JavaScript, and so on. The integration platform, the new modern integration platform, needs to cater to all those categories of developers, from business users to pro dev. And at the same time, the centralized IT or the centralized integration unit, instead of building and owning all the integration solutions as we used to do before, needs to change the role and shift it toward owning the platform itself, enabling business to build on top of it with the self-service integration capabilities. So let's talk about how Azure Integration Services help our customers to address these challenges. First of all, I'm sure you've seen this picture in different form and shapes a couple of times before. But Azure Integration Services provides a comprehensive set of services to support any existing or even future integration scenarios. So it starts with Azure API management that enables the entire lifecycle of APIs, from designing, publishing, managing, discovering, consuming. And this API management platform sets a good foundation for the composable architecture, for the composable enterprise, exposing APIs, allowing organizations to build APIs that they can then assemble into the end-to-end solutions. We have logic apps that enables all things workflow and integration, not only for the enterprise integration scenarios, but for applications as well. And Logic Apps is the core of abstracting and connecting to legacy applications and legacy data and exposing it over modern API using API management platform. Service Bus enables cloud scales enterprise messaging, and Event Grid provides at scale allow to deliver events at scale, enabling the enabling implementation of event-driven architectures. Azure Functions provide the serverless code execution capabilities for the scenario whether it's things like Logic Apps or API management that not provide sufficient enough capabilities and allow to run custom code on the serverless platform. And Azure Data Factory provides all capabilities for ATL and batch data processing. And the new addition to the list is Event Hubs that enables data streaming and event ingestion at scale. So, as you can see, Microsoft continues to invest and innovate in the integration space. I mentioned many of you seen this list many times, but those of you who have been using integration services for some time or have been following integration services, Azure Integration Services for some time, sees that this list almost doubled over the last several years. And not only we build the new services or add the new services to the list, to the experience, we also significantly invest and grow the services that have been on this list from the beginning. And it's not only praised by our customers or appreciated by our customers, it also has been noticed by analysts. So Azure Integration Services has been named a leader in enterprise integration platform 5 years in a row by Gartner. Another thing to mention is that Azure Integration Services, being part of the Azure platform, leverages all the investment that Microsoft does in the underlying platform technology. That means compute, networking, and data, and that mostly comes to the reliability, resilience, and the security of the platform. There are thousands of developers and billions of dollars that Microsoft invests into security every year, and using Microsoft Azure Integration Services, you leverage this investment automatically. And all of these services are available as pay-as-you-go, meaning customers can only pay for the services that they use and can start or add services quickly. No need to negotiate multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract upfront before you can even try or start using the platform for your organization. All right, so when Azure Integration Services create the solid foundation for our customers that our customers can build on, the power of AIS goes beyond that. We have more than 800 managed connectors and simplified connectivity to majority of Azure services, including the new AI services and UI automation that our customers can build on. So you pretty much can connect to any meaningful SaaS or business application today that your organization may use. The extension to or tight integration with Power Platform enables to create end-to-end experiences with a low-code, no-code approach. And low-code ETL with Azure Data Factory enables to implement any kind of data integration or data transformation scenarios. We also expand the spectrum of developers that we are addressing with the Azure Integration Services. Traditionally, if you come from the BizTalk world, so we've been catering to what we used to call integration specialists, and we expand in both directions with in Microsoft. So we empower citizen developers and citizen integrators to build integration automation solutions through our Power Platform and Power Automate, which integrates with the rest of the stack natively through our Azure API management solution. Think about it this way. So any Azure API endpoint can be available in the Power Automate as the custom connector, and so can be used by citizen developers to build any kind of automation or solution they want to do. On the other stack, on the other side of the spectrum, we are also working with to create the experience that is known and familiar to the pro developers, like .NET developers, Java developers, Node.js developers, and so on. So Logic Apps standard today provides the full local code development experience, starting from, the project can be started offline in VS Code environment. The workflows can be created offline, can be tested, debugged, and then packaged and deployed to the Azure, all from the professional EDI. And we also have plugins available for Visual Studio and the full integration with the GitHub that enables modern DevOps experiences as well. And we've been growing pretty significantly over last several years. So you can see some stats here. Those are impressive numbers that shows the scale of Azure Integration Services. So our data integration solutions process 200 plus petabytes of data monthly. Logic Apps crossed 100 billion executions per month recently. I think it's about 40% increase in comparison to what we had last year. Our API management solution serves more than 1 trillion requests per month through the API, through almost 2 million APIs that we have under our management, and that numbers grow 3% year over year, month over month, sorry. And we also process about 220 trillion messages through our service bus and event grid solutions. And all of this globally managed, available in all our regions with at least 3 nines SLA, and some services and some SKUs have 4 nines SLA as well. There's endless number of scenarios or endless number of ways of how our customers use our services. But when we think about it, when we talk to many of you, they all kind of fall into 4 different buckets. So modernizing legacy system is probably one of the top scenarios today, and there's two phases of this of that one specifically. So companies bring their on-prem or legacy integration solutions into the cloud to leverage all the cloud capabilities that we have today. That includes our connectors, the reliability of the platform, scalability of the platform, security investments that I mentioned before, and the new integration capabilities that are not available in the legacy integration solutions today. They are also using our services like API management and Logic Apps to create the new abstractions on top of their legacy applications. In the current economy situation, companies don't have much appetite to replace business applications to unlock the new capabilities or to unlock the new integrations. What they do is they build abstractions on top of those legacy to turn it into, or to create a facade of modern consumable API that they can use later in their integrations and end-to-end solutions. Companies use Azure Integration Services to accelerate application development. The API-first approach driven by our Azure API management solution is one of the scenarios. So companies start from API, be it a new APIs or be it, again, the APIs built on top of the legacy applications, and then use those APIs to expose those capabilities inside and outside of the organization. They also use our low-code integration or workflow management orchestration solutions to build some of those new composable abstractions faster. They've been historically using Azure Integration Services to automate business processes and workflows. Our service bus, our Logic Apps solutions are core, our hero products, and those scenarios where companies can build their business process automation using the low-code workflow development tools. And last but not least, they are using Azure Integration Services to unlock business insights in real time. So with all the connectors available, with the throughput that Azure can provide, companies can extract, get the data, transform the data, mesh the data, and then use this data in, or put the data through our new AI or machine learning services, and use this data to make real-time decisions for the new experiences to unlock value that is hidden as this data. And our Event Grid product with the that enables to build the event-driven architecture also falls into this place in this category very well, enabling our customers to send the event in the real time and being able to react on those events through applications or integration solutions. And to tell you the real story of the real customers who's been having an amazing journey, amazing transformational journey with Azure Integration Services, I would like to invite David Cleaver from Royal Mail Group to the stage. My clicker doesn't work, so I need to.
So, just to start off, Royal Mail, hands up those people who don't know who Royal Mail is and don't know what we do. Just a handful. So you're either too young to ever send letters, or maybe you don't live in the UK. 500-year-old company. We started back in the 1600s, and we've been delivering post since then, letters. And then along came technology, and people started to stop sending letters, and companies built their technology and their business on communications, and have started to take our business. Can't think of any of those that might be in the room here today, but there you go. So we deliver all the mail in the UK, and you will have seen the red post boxes, and you will have posted letters, and most of you will be our customers or our recipients, I'm sure, and you've had a great experience, and you'll be delighted to tell me about that afterwards, I'm sure. So just to introduce myself, I am not the oldest or the most expert integration person in the world. I am a technology change leader rather than an integration specialist. I came late to technology. I started in sales and marketing, and I was managing director of a church furniture business when I was 28. And then 5 or 6 years on, I decided I wanted to change, and I came into technology. And I've been building and changing systems ever since. As I say, my integration credibility is not where you guys would want to talk to me, but I did have the responsibility of introducing web services and SOAP standards to Lloyds Bank. So all of those XML tags that they're still flying about, probably not the greatest story to tell in this room, but there you go. So just a little bit about the context. So we obviously have been delivering letters to doors for hundreds of years. But our market has changed, and we're now really turning into a parcels business. And parcels are delivered to people. And the difference as well is that letters, you don't know when they're coming, generally. Parcels, you have an expectation and an anticipation. And so our customers want to know where that parcel is all the time. So we are having to change the way that we work. And the other side of it is that there are other competitors in this market that have not always been a letters business. They've been a parcels business, or maybe they have been a technology business that has a marketplace as well. So our competitors have got a bit of an advantage on us. So we're starting from a legacy of letters, and we've got to change. And that's a lot of technology, both physical technology, massive parcel hubs, changing and sorting machines, and the way that we deliver that. And we have to know where those parcels are at all time, because our customers want to know where those parcels are at all time. So that's driven a real change. And we've obviously an old company, we've got lots of different systems that we've built up over time on-prem. And then there's some things which don't change, and that is the seasonality of our business. we obviously have a 30% increase in our volumes during the Christmas period, and our peaks are really high. So traditionally, we would have built two service centres and capacity to do peak and a bit more in both centres. So we've got a real challenge, massive growth in data, much more visibility, much more real time, and a customer. And the other thing is that customers are digital, aren't they? They want just not to buy a stamp, but they want a whole product wrapped around that. So there's a digital product and experience that we have to wrap around it. So our choice and our change and our direction of travel. That's one of our drones, by the way, flying some post out to the Hebrides in Scotland. So there's new technology, new ways of delivering. And as we say, new parcel machines, new sorting machines, new transport. We need to know where all of those are, what they're containing at all time. So this sort of merger, my crude, is a virtualization, a virtual world of our products, so that we can track them at all time, customers can see where they are. So our change is to look to move cloud first, gives us that elastic compute capability we can turn on and off, to go event-driven architecture, makes sense, API first, and microservices, so that we can have a composable and flexible, durable architecture that we can change quickly enough to keep up with our competitors. And our competitors, as you'll know, are moving really quickly. And this is a real change for Royal Mail in terms of the expectations that we have to drive against. And the other piece that comes with that is also the subscription services. So being able to turn things on and off at a touch of a button and reuse them is incredibly powerful for us. So a couple of examples of what we've been doing in that space, so on our cloud direction. So in order to, if you go to microservices and you run like we do, probably well over 40 development teams, if you want to sort of give them the ability to really be product-centric and own what they're building, you want to make things democratized and self-service. So from an API perspective, our developers want to be able to create function, know about the product, know how to build that, know what the services should be, the definitions is, but actually the implementation, we want to abstract away and automate that. So we've built an API enablement team, built around API management services and logic apps. And what this is doing is allowing our developers to really understand the product, understand their bit of the code, but at a press of a button, using Swagger files, etc., just to build out their APIs. The challenge, if you're generating that many services, is keeping them consistent, managing them, and have them visible. So our way to do this is to automate that as much as possible. So all the security, the logging, the registration with our service support, the alerting is built into the framework and the guidelines. And as I say, it empowers our teams to move really quickly. We've already implemented this, and it's starting to accelerate. Because if we are going to go to that democratization, if we don't put this in first as a building block, it means that we'll end up having to try and work out duplications and services, and it will become unmanageable. So we've put that groundwork in first as we accelerate into the cloud. Second example, around the benefits of subscription model. So we had a need to drive a business change, and it, as we say, we're going events driven, and this needed to be use event streaming, and we wanted to use Event Hub. Now, in a normal circumstance, it would take us months, but what we managed to do, we had 3 months to get the full implementation into production, and we wanted to go via a strategic solution. We managed to use an Events Hub, turn it on, get a POC up and running, connected end-to-end, tested from a functional perspective within 2 weeks, which allowed us to convince the business that it was the right thing to do, that we could deliver within 3 months. If we hadn't have been in Azure, if we hadn't have had that subscription service and the environments and the ability to turn it on, we would have missed our opportunity and would have built tactically and would have lost that chance to go into the strategic, and we'd have been rebuilding that, and it would cost us money. So subscription service is really, really powerful for us, and as I say, really added value already. And that allows us now to build out that component into the strategic component for our event hub. So just a couple of things on what we've learned. So we're really early in our journey. We've established it in Azure, but we've got a lot to go. We've got an awful lot of estate that we're going migrating and to make state of the art. The key things that probably we would have liked to have done better if we were starting again, getting some of the basics in place first. Going a bit slower to go a bit faster. So things like security models, landing zone designs, and access patterns. Just getting those really well established up front. Moving from on-prem, from legacy into the cloud is a big mind shift. And I think one of the other things that we relearned is that it's a change management process as much as a technical process, getting people to adopt and think in cloud as opposed to in on-prem. It's really important across multi-layers, not just in the technology organization, but also in the wider business, in order to drive that change and to help people understand the timing and the investment. So big change management piece. Knowledge is king. So we've relied really heavily on Microsoft, and they've been brilliant in partnering with us to help to build that, and that's been a really good aspect of it. But giving your own people time to get up to speed, the resources and the training, and taking advantage of the training that Microsoft had as well, really adds value. And we probably, looking back, would have invested more in that and given more time. And I think sort of the good things, I mean, things that just come for free, you know, or more or less for free. The App Center allowing you to track your APIs and services, really powerful, particularly for us where we've got events and messaging traveling through multiple systems and multiple areas. The cost calculators, just simple things and catalog, being able to draw down, identify what to use, and being able to see what it's going to cost you. Brilliant. And I think the other thing that obviously we've already touched on is that ability to go fast, to turn on and use things, to test things, to learn, and either abandon them or to continue with them without it costing you an awful lot. So we're continuing our journey. We've got a clear strategy to build reusable, flexible architecture and to innovate around cloud-native technology. Great using software as a service and not having to build everything up, but we're building our own sample of that, our own products around that. We've got major investment in our cloud migration and automation to drive our ability to stay ahead of our competitors and to give really good products to our customer. Because we're committed to that, delivering trust at the doorstep through great digital products, not just the actual delivery of parcel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. It's really great to hear the story. This is a very refreshing approach that Royal Mail takes to change and adopt the new technologies and the ways of working. And it has been a pleasure to partner with you through this transformation. So we've been impressed. Right. Moving forward, let's talk about the future. I know that's what majority of you have been waiting for. So. As I mentioned, we're actively investing across all our integration services and to help you, to make it easier for you to build integration solutions and further expand the type of solutions you can build on top of our platform. I by no means want to present the compound roadmap of all the services here. That will take several hours, and we will in fact have multiple sessions on that, providing more details on each and every product. But I want to highlight a few important areas of our investment. So first of all, going to cloud from BizTalk. Last year, we announced we will make some investments in to help our customers to migrate from on-prem from cloud to on-prem from BizTalk to Azure Integration Services, and we are committed to make this the cheapest and the fastest possible migration that could exist. So, as of today, you can see some of those investments materialized into the actual features. We created the architectural guide, so that's been available on our docs site for several months already and received a lot of positive feedback. BizTalk maps support, actually XSLT support with support for custom .NET assemblies have been GA'd recently, and we see a lot of traction on that feature specifically, which means that customers can take all their existing maps, the existing BizTalk assets, and move them to Azure Integration Services, to Logic Apps specifically, without changing, recompiling, retesting, or doing anything about it. So that's basically lift and shift kind of the approach. So we released the public preview of our Swift support, something that our financial sector, financial industry customers have been waiting for, to migrate their financial workloads from BizTalk to the cloud. And we are in the private preview for .NET Framework custom code, which I think we will open up for public preview relatively soon, so this summer for sure. So if you are curious to try or want to provide feedback, please reach out to me or Wagner. We will be happy to onboard you on private preview before it went public. And we will continue investing. So you will hear more from us this year. We are continuing investing on native XML support, one of the most requested features when it comes to the BizTalk migration. We will provide support for WCF SOAP services, BizTalk rules engine that we want to bring as is from at least as the initial stage from the BizTalk to Logic Apps will enable our customers to migrate their rules from on-prem to the cloud without any modifications, any rewrite, retesting, and so on, saving significant time and money. And we'll also work to enable business process tracking on Azure Integration Services that I will talk about a little later. The other significant area of investment is connectivity and B2B. At the end, integration platform is all about connections. And as of today, we have 800 managed connectors available for you to use. So since we opened up the third-party and community contribution, we've seen a strong contribution from our partners, and this contribution was driving the growth of the number for the last several months. We also significantly invest in what we call built-in connectors for Logic App standard. Those are connectors that run inside the VNet, inside the isolated compute where the workflow engine runs on, providing better performance, better isolation, better threshold. So we just recently GA'd 30+ connectors for Azure Services applications and different protocols. By application is things like SAP and so on. And we will be adding to this list moving forward. The roadmap for the built-in connector today have a couple of dozens of connectors, and this list continue to grow. So ODBC, OData, Azure Graph, Redis Cache, NetSuite, and others are on the list. Integration account support for Logic App standard is available today. So that's been something that our consumption customers and ICE customers were able to use before. And Logic App standard initially was offering the in-the-engine storage capabilities. However, what we realized is that our customers want to share assets across the apps, and that's not that easy to do with the Logic App standard today. It was not easy to do with the Logic App standard. So we created the support for the existing integration account for Logic App standard, and we're also working on the new SKU of integration account that will open up for preview later this year, that will provide the VNet integration, CMK, disaster recovery, better limits or pretty much no limits on the number of artifacts that integration account can store or process, self-service onboarding and partner testing that will be available for Logic App standard, specifically considering the nature of this new SKU and the deep integration with the VNet. I mentioned we released the built-in Swift support. It's in public preview. It's also available in Logic App Standard, meaning that it's also run inside the VNet and provide the level of isolation our enterprise or financial customers are looking for. And we continue investing into industry protocols and connectors as the Logic App Standard built-in connectors. So X12, Edifact, HL7, Swift MX, MQTT are on the list, and you will hear some, then you will see some of them being available for preview later. So AI, I mean, with the ChatGPT, everyone is talking about AI, right? And Microsoft leads the way with our OpenAI services, as well as the best in breed, the developer, AI-enabled developer experience through GitHub Copilot. If you attended Build, you probably seen our partner teams, Power Automate, just released the AI assistant, AI Copilot for Power Automate workflows, where users can express what they want to build in the natural language, and the Copilot will create the workflow and then work with the user to modify workflow as they need. We are working on bringing the similar AI-assisted experiences for our integration developers across our services. I cannot share more details, unfortunately, but you will hear more from us coming later this year. And the last but not least, so over years we've been talking to our customers, hearing about the same signals, the same feedback, is that it's great to have all the services available. However, stitching them together sometimes takes more time, more effort, more money than it's supposed to, right? It's great to be able to combine and only pay for what you use, but when you use those services together, you want to see them working as the one cohesive unit. And that's what we've been investing into over the last several months, what we call unified iPaaS experience. So when we talk about what this experience is, or like what's really important for you, it all boils down into three top categories. Infrastructure provisioning and configuration. So having the consistent infrastructure, picking the right SKUs for all the different products to make sure that they can integrate with each other, setting up the right role-based access control, the right networking, the right endpoints, the right policies, and so on, is not always easy. So that requires a significant or deep understanding on how all the services work, what SKUs are available, what limitations are, as well as keeping this configuration consistent also requires a lot of discipline. So we've been addressing this at this point through providing landing zone. I don't know if you've seen, but we released the Azure Integration Services landing zone that allows to create a production-ready Azure integration environment in a matter of minutes by executing the ARM template, parameterizing and executing the ARM template that we provide, that will make sure that all the components that are provisioned through this template are properly connected and configured together. And we will make this experience better moving forward. Development and DevOps experience. So all our integration components are DevOps enabled, but stitching them together kind of takes a bit of a knowledge and some orchestration on the pipeline side, the DevOps side. So we are working on building a unified way to develop, deploy, and manage integration applications. And don't quote me on that, but that's a loose term. Integration applications, it's a set of Azure Integration Services resources working together to deliver on the end-to-end experience as the single unit, so that you don't need to, that you will always know what your dependencies are, how those things are deployed, managed together, and will not need to kind of create the orchestration in your pipeline by yourself. And the item which is always on top of the list when we talk about our customers about unified experience is end-to-end monitoring and business tracking. What we hear is that our customers want to be able to monitor health of their application, which again is the set of resources working together to deliver on some end-to-end scenarios. And what it boils down to, they want to see green light or red light, right? So does this application work or it doesn't? And if it doesn't, that's where they can engage the technical support or third line support to dig deeper and see on each individual resources to understand why this application doesn't work. And similarly to business activities, business tracking. So customers want to map the business process and being able to see where each execution of this specific business process is. Does it meet SLA? Did it go through, and so on. So if you used the BizTalk before, and I know many of you did, that's what we used to call BAM. Similar experience our customers want to see in Azure Integration Services. So with this, let me introduce you to something that we've been working on. A word of caution, it's still early, right? So it's still in development. Everything can change. And we don't have a specific ETA yet except for later this year. So one of the things that we've been working on is the integration box. We call it integration space for now. The integration space is the single pane view of integration code, integration infrastructure, application, business process, resources, anything integration. So it's basically the entry point for our customers to see and understand the state of their integration applications or integration resources. The integration space also decouples infrastructure from the code. So when customers provision the integration space, their RT organization or platform engineering or DevOps team, the people who are responsible for infrastructure, would be able to create the integration space and attach all the properly configured resources to it. That being Logic App Standard or service plan to run workflows and functions. That could be API management instance or some entity inside the API management instance like workspace. It could be service bus or some specific namespace in the service bus, can be event grid, and so on. So developers will work with the integration space, not necessarily worrying about what's the underlying infrastructure is. For developer, integration space provide a set of capabilities, meaning I can run my workflows, I can expose my APIs, I have access to the service bus, and I have access to the event grid, and we will expand the list moving forward. So for developers, it becomes an easy deployment target when they don't need again to worry about is there a private network or public network and how this specific runtime, Logic Apps runtime would scale based on my demands. So they package their code, they deploy it into the integration space, and making sure that, and the platform engineering team just makes sure that this code runs as expected. And since the integration space connects several resources together, it will also provide the unified experience for managing the configuration of those resources, right? So each and every resource that are attached or included into the integration space has its own specific configuration. I mean, like Service Bus has its own configuration, Logic Apps has its own, but they also share some configuration across them, policies, networking, role-based access control, and things like that. To keep them consistent, the integration space will ultimately provide the interface to update that configuration and will propagate the changes, ensuring the consistency across the underlying components. As one of the first experiences that we want to bring to the integration space is end-to-end integration application monitoring that I mentioned before. So on the first stage, we will enable users to create a group of integration components, workflows, APIs, functions, to create the holistic view of end-to-end application or end-to-end scenario. So users will be able to define rules, alerts, thresholds, dashboards on the level of application itself. And the support, the IT support would be able to see, as I mentioned before, as you can see on this picture, basically green light or blue light in this case, or red light, meaning my application works or my application doesn't. We're not trying to abstract the resources completely. So if application doesn't work, the IT personnel will still have access to all the underlying resources, so they can go there, dig deeper, and see why this specific API endpoint or why this specific Logic Apps does not behave as it's supposed to. But on the higher level, we will create the unified picture, the cohesive picture for this application, showing whether the application state, based on how users defined it, is green or red. And we also bring business process tracking to the integration space as well. So our users, let's say business users, will be able to define a business process using similar technologies, like using similar in-portal designer that integration developers use today. So the business users will define the steps and the information they want to collect on each and every step, or how those steps are connected together. Then developers will take this defined business process and will map this business process to existing Logic Apps applications, to existing Logic Apps workflow, connecting each step in the business process to the specific step in the business in the Logic Apps, using the in-portal Logic Apps designer and the token picker that our Logic Apps developers are familiar with today. So when the process is defined, when all the mapping is defined, developers will be able to deploy the profile, the tracking profile, as we call it, into the Logic Apps engine, and Logic Apps engine will start tracking all the information automatically. So no need to add specific actions into your workflow that emit the data. No need to modify your workflow at all. So all the mapping happens outside between the profile defined by business users and the application created by developers. And when we will provide the default interface for business users or the business support to go and see each and every transactions, what state of these transactions, what data was collected for this transaction, did it meet SLA, didn't meet SLA, and so on and so forth. We also will emit all the information in ADX, and customers will have the full access to the instance of this ADX. In fact, it's bring your own ADX approach. So they will be able to build their own interfaces, their own dashboards, their own analytics on top of this ADX instance based on their scenarios and based on their business cases. And that's all I had. Thank you all for being here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the other sessions where we will provide more details on this and other investments. We're looking forward to your feedback, and really can't wait to see what you will build with all these new Azure Integration Service capabilities. Thanks a lot.